You think she's gone for good, but what's really eating you is the silence because silence can feel like a verdict when you don't understand what it means. You're replaying the last conversation like a courtroom tape. You're trying to decode emojis. You're checking timestamps like they're prophecies. And I get it. Your pride is bruised, your chest is tight, and you want certainty. You want a clean answer. Is she coming back or not? Here's the truth over comfort thesis you need. These signs don't mean she's yours again. They mean something simpler and more useful. They mean you're still in her field of gravity. And what you do next determines whether that gravity pulls her in or pushes her away forever. And before you keep watching, subscribe. Not for me, for you. Because when you're in this emotional fog, you don't need entertainment. You need reminders. You need someone to say the hard thing when your mind starts negotiating your self respect away. So hit subscribe because your future self is going to need this voice when your weaker self starts rationalizing. Now let's build the reasoning ladder because most men get this backwards. The misconception is if she misses me, she'll come back loudly. Big messages, big apologies, big declarations, like a movie. Hard truth, why women don't announce regret. Women rarely return like a fireworks show. They return like weather, quiet shifts, small tests, subtle proximity. Because the real question in her mind isn't, do I still feel something? She already knows she does. The real question is it safe to come back without losing my leverage? And is he still the same man I left? Why it happens, the root cause, attraction and respect don't live in your words. They live in your frame. They live in the way you carry yourself when you're not getting what you want. They live in what you tolerate. So she probes, she watches, she uses low-risk contact to measure your stability. That's called calibration. What it costs you if you misread it. You start chasing, you start over-explaining, you start performing, you start begging with accidental texts. You start being nice in a way that isn't kindness, it's fear. And then you teach her the worst lesson that your attention is cheap. Your boundaries are flexible and your life has been on pause, waiting for her verdict. Reframe. Her quiet signals are not a green light to pursue. They are a mirror asking one question. Are you still the man she could respect? Or have you turned into a man who needs her to breathe? Good. Now we can talk about the 11 quiet signs she's thinking about returning. And as you listen, keep your spine straight. None of these are instructions to chase. These are indicators to stay grounded. Sign 1, she reappears with a neutral reason that doesn't require vulnerability. A sign, Magar 1, subtle online attention. Question about something she forgot. A logistical detail, a random update. It's a safe doorway. She's testing if she can open contact without paying an emotional price. If you respond like a starving man who just got fed, you fail the test. If you respond like a man with a full life, you pass. Sign 2, she watches you without touching you, views your stories, likes nothing, doesn't comment, just present. That's not nothing. That's attention without permission. She's telling herself she's just curious, but curiosity is rarely neutral. Curiosity is energy, and energy has direction. The question is that direction toward respect or toward control? Sign 3, she accidentally brings up an inside joke, something only you two would understand. That's called a tether, a little emotional string she can tug to see if the bond still snaps back. If you get overly excited, she learns you're still emotionally owned. If you smile, acknowledge, and keep it moving, she learns you're not desperate, and that's attractive. Sign 4, she checks your sign number 2, testing the silence temperature through other people, mutual friends, a sibling, a casual. How is he doing? She's gathering intel because direct contact feels like surrender. When a woman asks about you indirectly, she's negotiating internally. Pride on one shoulder, feeling on the other, and she wants information that lets her come back without feeling like she lost. Sign 5, she becomes inconsistent on purpose. One day warm, one day cold. Quick replies, then silence. That's not she doesn't know. That's her measuring your emotional discipline. Can you stay steady when she's not, or do you spiral? That's called emotional leadership. And if you don't have it, you won't keep any woman long term, even if she returns. Sign 6. She finds small excuses to be in your orbit. Same places, same gym time, a coincidental stop by. This is proximity without commitment. She wants to feel what it's like around you again without having to declare anything. And your job is to not mistake proximity for promise. Presence is not partnership. Sign 7. She asks questions that sign number 3. Indirect communications sound casual, but are actually about your identity. What are you up to lately? How's work going? Are you still doing that thing you used to do? She's not collecting facts. She's measuring direction. Women don't return to men who are stationary. They return to men who are becoming. If you sound like your life is a waiting room, you lose. If you sound like your life has momentum, you become dangerous again in the best way. Sign 8. She shows a flicker of jealousy, but wrapped in humor. So, you're out here living your best life, huh? A little sarcasm, a tiny sting. That's not random. Jealousy is possession waking up. But here's the trap. If you gloat, you look petty. If you reassure her too much, you look guilty and needy. The man with self-respect doesn't overreact. He stays calm. He stays clean. Sign 9. She apologizes, but only for something small. Not the breakup, not the disrespect. Something minor. Sorry I was weird. Sorry I disappeared. That's a toe in the water. She's testing whether accountability is safe with you. If you sign number 4, nostalgic behavior punish her, she retreats. If you absolve her instantly, she learns she can get away with anything. The right response is measured. Acknowledge, accept, and keep your standards intact. Calm strength, not resentment, not worship. Sign 10. She brings up the past with a softened tone, not to reopen the fight, but to rewrite the story. I've been thinking about how things ended. I didn't handle that well. That's her trying to reduce the emotional friction that prevents return. People come back when the psychological cost of returning becomes lower than the cost of staying away. She's lowering the cost. Sign 11. She offers a low-stakes meetup. Coffee, a quick catch-up. If you're free, that language matters. It's intentionally light because she wants plausible deniability. If it goes well, she can lean in. If it doesn't, she can pretend it was nothing. This is the moment where men either regain respect or lose it permanently. Now, listen to me. You can hear all of that and still do it wrong because the real fight isn't her behavior. The real fight is your addiction to outcome. You want her back to prove you're enough, to prove you. Sign number 5, curiosity about you didn't lose, to prove you were worthy of being chosen. And that's the poison. Because the second you make her return the source of your value, you become a beggar in your own life. That's called outsourcing your self-respect. And here's what a grounded man understands. A woman returning is not a prize. It is an evaluation. It is a negotiation. It is an opportunity for a new standard or a repeat of the old pain. So let me give you the archetype. The man who wins here, whether she comes back or not. He doesn't posture. He doesn't threaten. He doesn't perform masculinity like a costume. He has quiet weight. He wakes up with purpose that existed before her and will exist after her. He trains his body because he respects it. He handles his money because he respects his future. He speaks with clarity because he respects his time. And when he sets a boundary, it's not a tantrum. It's a policy. He doesn't chase mixed signals. He doesn't beg for clarity from someone who benefits from confusion. He doesn't treat attention like love. He doesn't turn a maybe into a mission. He's warm but not weak. Open but not available on demand. Interested but not impressed by sign number 6, emotional softening, inconsistency. He knows the difference between a woman who is returning to build and a woman who is returning to soothe her loneliness with his devotion. And because he knows the difference, he moves slower than his feelings. That's called leadership. That's called masculine self-respect. Now, the actionable imperatives tight sequence. Do this. Stop this. Redirect. First, stop initiating contact if she left. Stop. If she is thinking about returning, she will create openings. Your job is not to force openings. Your job is to be solid enough that when openings appear, you don't collapse into them. Second, when she reaches out, respond like a man who has a life. Not instantly every time. Not with paragraphs. Not with jokes that try to win her. Calm, direct, polite. 2 to 5 sentences. You're not writing a love letter. You're assessing a situation. Third, stop talking about the relationship in circles. If she wants to return, she must show it with behavior, not nostalgia, not I miss you, not I've. Sign number 7, inconsistent distance been thinking. Behavior, consistency, effort, respect, that's the currency. Fourth, define the frame early. If she escalates, if she wants to meet, you don't do ambiguous late night hangs that blur your standards. You set a simple plan. Daytime or early evening, clear time, clear place. And you keep it light but intentional. You are not auditioning, you are evaluating. Fifth, if she brings confusion, you bring clarity. If she says, I don't know what I want, you do not become her therapist. You do not become her emotional support animal. You say calmly, I'm not interested in half in, half out. If you want to rebuild, we can talk about what that looks like. If not, I wish you well. That's not harsh, that's clean. Sixth, stop trying to make her understand your pain. I know you want her to feel it. I know you want fairness. But the more you argue your wound, the more you hand her the steering wheel. Speak once if needed, then move forward. A man with standards. Sign number 8. Checking your availability doesn't need to litigate his dignity. Seventh, redirect your energy back into your mission immediately, not as a tactic, as a correction. Train, work, build, learn, sleep, eat like an adult. Surround yourself with men who don't let you rot in obsession. Because here's the brutal reality. The quickest way to lose her forever is to stop living. You stop training. You stop creating. You stop leading your own life. And then you look up and realize you didn't just lose a woman, you lost yourself. And that's the real heartbreak, isn't it? Not her absence, your disappearance. So here's the reframe that frees you. Her potential return is not your finish line. It's not your salvation. It's not your identity. It's simply information. If she returns with humility, consistency, and respect, you can choose to explore it from a position of sign 9-11. The final quiet shifts strength. If she returns with games, nostalgia, and entitlement, you can choose to walk away without hatred and without begging. Either way, you win because you kept your spine. Now, I'm going to say something that might sting, but it'll set you free. Part of you wants her to come back just so you can finally relax. But the man you're becoming doesn't relax because a woman chooses him. He relaxes because he chooses himself. He doesn't need a text to feel powerful. He doesn't need attention to feel real. He doesn't need closure to move forward. Closure is a luxury. Discipline is a decision. So if she's sending quiet signs, good. Let her think. Let her wonder. Let her feel the absence she helped create. And you keep building. Because the moment you become the man who can genuinely be okay without her, you become the man who can handle her if she returns without losing yourself inside her. That's the paradox. Neediness repels. Self-respect attracts. Reality beats fantasy every time. And here's your identity reset. You are not the man waiting to be chosen. You are the man choosing. You are the standard. You are the one who decides what access costs. You are the one who decides what behavior is acceptable. You are the one who protects the future version of you. You are the answer. If this hit you in the chest, subscribe. Again, not for me, for you. Because you need consistent truth in a world that sells you comfort. And in this community, we don't worship people who leave us. We don't beg for love. We rebuild our self-respect. We lead our lives, and we only accept what meets our standard. You're not alone here. You're just done being weak.